What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, we have ourselves focus. That's right. What the hell am I talking about when I say that? Well, we're not talking about The Rock telling you guys to focus at the gym. We're talking about Payne telling you to focus on this goddamn Centipede level that has everybody up in arms right here. Alright, so I did it as free to play. It took me an hour and a half on a live stream. It took forever. So I'm going to show you guys what I did and how I did it, plus show you guys my team right now and what got the job done, with a couple different alterations that you can make as well too if you don't have the same setup as me, plus weapons of choice that will actually do a really good job, plus blessing stones. Okay, so very important to note that. Now the first thing I'm going to note here is the team itself. I don't have Emma, so if you well, I do have Emma, I don't have her built. So if you're going to run a good team to do this, quite honestly the best choices would probably be Emma, Meilin, if you can. Obviously Alicia is really good because she freezes obviously on this one, or any form of breaker if you don't have Emma. Wu would be good. Wu's actually great because it gives you the extra dash to avoid all the crazy damage that comes through, as well as Sa's not bad for the shield. So any of those will work. Min is fantastic if you don't have Meilin, as is Libora if you're going to increase the damage, but for sure Emma is fantastic for this, and you probably want to end up using her over any other breaker because of the ability and the attribute of fire, right? So very, very important to note that those guys will all help out. A couple different good options. Yusu Yun is really good. Choi would be really good as well too for the defense red if you don't have Shadow Step already going, but for the most part Shadow Step is almost active at all times, just because these centipedes do not stop moving and attacking, just like in real life. They are the most disgusting creatures on the planet, I swear to God. So this was like a nightmare fight for me because I don't like them in real life. It's the only bug that actually icks me. But outside of that, those are probably the best choices to use to break this down. If you don't have any of these units for some odd reason, then there's no business for you to be there. By the way, if somehow you got there with just SRs, I'll be shocked. But yeah, those are probably the best units. Mirai is actually a pretty good option as well too if you're looking for the most amount of damage for a support class. So if you're just lacking a little bit of damage, try using her as well too. She will definitely get the job done with her insane support. Okay, so those are the units I would use. Now in regards to Sun Jinu's setup, this is kind of what I went with right here. So I've got the full blessing set, for full curse set. Now of course with the curse set there is a minor issue, the fact that you can get you get more damage. Essentially you take more damage, right? So keep that in mind. In regards to weapons, I did of course the usual custom weapons, Westwind with Plum Sword. Now I did try it with a few different other options. I didn't at the time have a Orb of Avarice at A5, at A4, still almost got the job done. So Orb of Avarice, fantastic for this fight. Believe it or not, Vulcan's Rage would be really good here because of the extra shield it provides to give you a little more survivability. Moon Shadow Blades are amazing here because it slows down time on the centipedes, giving you more access to more damage and obviously helping you survive a little more because of the time slow. If you have the Phoenix Bow, it's probably the best weapon for it, so you could use that as well too. And then the Grimoire is actually fantastic. If you also have the Ice Grimoire, not a bad choice to use to freeze them in place, giving you more time to DPS and do more damage overall. So those are all very, very good options. Plum Sword of course is a given. Scythe is good if you're good at avoiding a lot of damage, but the problem is the Scythe also makes you lose HP, and in this case a lot of it is survivability versus DPS, so you're gonna have to fine-tune this very, very much. Okay, now in regards to shadows, Igris, Cerberus, Iron, always the same shadows, that doesn't change. Blessing stones, this is where it becomes very important. Okay, so I had the extra dash because again, survivability. For me personally, survivability mattered most. I actually ended up having myself the daily quest completion. In case I did die, I can go back and get it done again. I also had myself a legendary Kasaka Steel Scales. Even if you have the epic, it's worth it in this case because now they've increased the amount of shield that you get. So very, very important for survivability. So this is the first time I've actually ever used this. Only ever time. If you have a good camouflage, also a good option. I ended up using the following. So I did Kasaka. So actually, let's break it down here. I think I did this. I did the dash. I did this right here. And then I did Pulverize. Okay, just to break their shields as fast as possible. Now, in terms of skills, very straightforward. Skill-wise, what you want to use is your Fire Dark skill, or sorry, Fire multi-strike called Percussion. The reason why this actually ends up doing more damage on the opponents, or even better, if you have the Ascension break here instead, which is the much better option. I would use this one over the other one. The reason why I use this one is because it actually increases your ultimate gauge much quicker, so use that if you can. This is the best option out of the two of them. Okay, and the last option, of course, and the only really good option for breaking them is going to be your decimation. Okay, so this one here will increase your critical hit damage as well for 5 seconds, allowing you to do way more damage. Plus, it's the best breaking skill in the game for fire attributes. So those are the things I used. So let's get into the actual video. And this again is about an hour and a half of me doing this. This is what it looked like when you fail, by the way. You guys can see here we had a couple different attempts. So this one didn't work out. I died here. The next one, on the other hand, did work out. So we're going to show you guys the workout and how to get it done. Now, if you're running the same setup as me, Plum Sword is going to be key to clearing out a lot of your ads, as well as Westwind. If you don't have that, the Orb of Avarice is amazing, as is the bow. The biggest issue, though, is the bow has a long cooldown. Orb doesn't, so you guys can use the cooldown blessing if you need to in order to reduce the bow's blessing. But I would highly recommend doing this. Now, the biggest problem with these ads, honestly, is not even the ads themselves or how many there are. It's the NPCs. They just keep juggling them up in the air, sometimes making you miss your moves completely. So keep that in mind. Now, I would recommend in this case, try to build up your ultimate quickly before you get to the bosses. When you do get to the bosses, you'll be able to probably cast it once or twice. So not a bad choice there. Okay, so you guys can see here, I did go ahead and skip a couple of these. There you guys go. See, I'm building my ultimate here. We have about, I think ideally, if you're free to play in this fight, you want to go roughly about 2 minutes in minimum. If you have like less than 2 minutes on the clock, I would start over, because you're not going to have enough time on your clock to finish it. Okay, so couple different tricks people have told me around this. It didn't work for me personally, but I can see why it would work. Is when they come out right here, you want to either do what I do here. That's my trick, the decimation. Freeze them, and then go around and do your shadow step, and then do your ultimate, and try to focus on one at a time. Okay. You guys can see here, they come at you fast. So I cast my ultimate here because I want to kill at least the one. So you see the decimation, the crit damage is up there. So I broke one of them. So all of them will take quite a bit of damage here. And then, of course, if you have the Plum Sword, make sure you do full bloom if you can. If not, then you move on and do amplifying draw at the very least to get yourself some more crit. Okay, you guys can see here, they do a lot of damage. And this is why I have Saw, Alicia, and I believe the last unit I have here is, look at that, look, it almost killed me already. Crazy. All right, so one of them is going to die very soon. Okay, you guys see him now. At this point, you gotta play smart, right? There's one's down. Okay, so when you have one down, the rest of it becomes a lot easier, obviously, because it's less of these centipedes just trying to gangbang you. This is the worst gangbang in the world. So, that's right, I just said that. So there you go, break another one, get him in the corners. If you get him in the corners, you're in a better spot to finish this off. Okay, so when they do the one dive, keep running until they finish coming up, okay? There's two different dives. There's a 3 dive where they kind of go in the sand 3 times, and then there's the 1 dive. So you guys can see I'm just focusing on one. I'm not really focusing on both, because once you finish the other one, there it is right there. The last one, all you got to do is break, and it's pretty much game over, guys. Okay, so the key here is to focus on that. Now, if you have the Orb of Avarice, bundling them up together and using the orb is a great idea. Do not use Black Hole. It doesn't work well here because they move so much. It doesn't actually keep them in the hole. They just do whatever they want. They completely don't comply, okay? So these guys are tough. Now, another trick is when you enter, there's a little bridge right underneath the door, the entrance. You can go back there and kind of put them all together in a little spot. It's tough. If you can freeze them and then do decimation there, you can probably break all 3 of them at the same time and then do your ultimate there. But nonetheless, this was a tough fight. So this is one of the toughest fights. So that's the way I did it, guys. Hopefully it works out for you. Again, I gave you a couple different options, a couple different choices to get the job done, but this is one of the tougher fights in the game for sure. This was harder than Hard Vulcan for me. It's crazy. But you guys can see here, this is overtuned. I think they're going to actually reduce the level of difficulty on this very soon. So if you are struggling, you can't get the job done, just wait for that, and you guys should be able to finish it probably in the next week or so. All right, guys, this is Payne. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the live stream very soon. Take care.